What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Terrible clap, but we got a pretty dope light. We're going to continue to talk about some high Candela lights from Streamlight. This is the TLR-1 HP-X. The Streamlight model numbers are always crazy. All right, we're going to start with the battery this time. It's a dual fuel light, so you can either use the included SLB9 rechargeable batteries or two CR123s in a pinch. The rechargeable batteries are USB-C as they should be. There's a red and green indicator letting you know the charging status, and it takes roughly 2 hours to recharge those batteries. I wanted to start there because the lumens and the Candela and runtime for all lights are going to be different, whether you're using rechargeable batteries or you're using CR123s. So peak performance lumens is 1300, Candela 77,000. That's with the rechargeable battery. The runtime is going to be 1.5 hours with the CR123. I'm guessing they don't put out as much power. That's why the batteries last a little bit longer. But either way, what great Candela numbers from a pistol light. That is just solid. All right, there's a review. It's over. It's ended. Thank you for watching. Go buy one of these. The link is down in the video description. Now, we're going to step outside and do the beam comparison now. This is something everybody always wants to see, so I'm trying to do it earlier in the video. We're going to compare the HP-X, the Streamlight HLX, the original HL. I'll probably throw an X300 in there. I don't know, I haven't done this yet. We're gonna do it later tonight, and you can check out all the beams. Before we do that, let's quickly thank Brownells. They have always been one of the biggest supporters of my channel, so I try to thank them every once in a while. Discount code is Tiberious, saves you 10% on anything over 150. This light happens to be over 150 if you want to use it towards this light or anything else. Now, beam comparison time. All right, first up is the star of the show, TLR-1 HP-X. I always point out that the hotspot is definitely more defined, what I see compared to what you see, but this is what the camera picks up. Next up is the Streamlight HLX. This has lower Candela, but still very bright, high lumens. All right, this is the original TLR-1 HL. Lower lumens, lower Candela, but still a good beam. Last but not least is the X300. This is the turbo version, so this is the higher Candela version of the X300. What did you think of the beam comparison? Again, I haven't done it, so I don't know what I think. I'm going to do it later tonight. All right. The newer versions of the TLR-1s have several new features, like the HLX and the HP-X have several new features that I really like. The controls being by far number one. The old version of the TLR-1 had the rocker panels, and they were okay, but if you ever took a low light training class, you would always see accidental light discharges, and it always made me nervous with the rocker panels. These new controls are great. They're just like the TLR-7. One cool thing is you can either get high or low controls, if they call them extended and low or high and low, whatever. So there's a little pin inside here, and it comes with this little tool. You push that pin through to the other side, and when you do that, you can, within just a second or two, swap from the high grips to the low grips, and whichever one you prefer. Now, I thought I liked the high one, but I actually prefer the low one now that I've used it more and more, so I'm going to stick with the low one. As far as the way the control works, you press either button quickly, quick press, stays on constant. You hold either button down, it's momentary, stays on for as long as you hold it. Very simple, just like most lights out there. Another new thing is the batteries are going to load in from the front, which means you don't have to take the light off of the gun when you want to swap the batteries out. Fantastic. There's a little safety on one side. We're going to push that. Oh, I missed. Push the safety in, rotate the lever forward, and then the front of the light opens right up, and this will allow you to swap your batteries, take your batteries out, charge them, whatever you need to do. That is fantastic. Another thing that is different from the original TLR-1 is going to be the knob that you put the gun on and off. So it's more of a flush knob. The old TLR-1 had some nubs on there that made it a little easier to take it on and off the light. So the new one here, you're going to need a coin to really tighten it down, or a shell casing, or a screwdriver, almost anything like that to tighten it down. Now, I don't think that's a big deal because, again, with the new version, you don't have to take the light off to swap the batteries like the old version. So once you lock it on here, it's pretty much going to stay on. So no big deal, but I like to point that out. A lot of Streamlight products have 10 tap programmable technology. This one does as well. So it's for strobe on this particular light. You can enable or disable strobe. You push the button 9 times and you hold it on the 10th, and that's going to enable or disable strobe. Now, if you are a fan of strobe, I'd highly recommend you take a low light force on force class. Once you do, I think you're not going to like strobe anymore, but I'm very happy that strobe's in there because it seems a lot of you boys and girls love strobe, a lot of you boys and girls hate strobe, so I'm happy it's in there, but I'm even more happy that it can be disabled so I don't have to deal with it. All right, what comes in the box? Obviously, you get the USB cable so you can charge the battery up. You get those high and low paddles, the control paddles that I mentioned. You get the tool to push that pin through to swap the panels. The other thing they give you that I love is they give you 4 different rail accessories. So this goes inside of the light where the light integrates with the firearm. And having 4 different sizes does a couple different things. One, it's going to obviously help work with a wider variety of firearms, but more importantly than that, it's going to allow you to put the light exactly where you want it for your size hand. So on this Walther PDP you see, I have the light tucked up all the way up against the handguard, and that fits my hands perfectly, but you could play around with the different keys and get it to set up exactly how you want. Like the other Streamlight pistol lights, the body is aluminum. It has a black anodized finish. It's waterproof down to 30 meters. We're going to talk about holster compatibility and size here. So what I'm going to try to put up on the screen is the HP-X, the HLX, which is exactly the same size, the original HL, which is close but not exactly, and an X300 as well. And you can take a look at those. So I think if you have a duty holster, like a Safariland holster, you're probably going to be fine because that doesn't really use the light to lock it in. If you have a custom holster that's made for the HL, the TLR-1 HL, the older one, you might be okay, you might not. That screw, that different size, the lever on the other side may interfere with your holster compatibility, but I can't say for sure until you try it. All right, up here on the screen is the dimensions, the weight, the size, all that good stuff. MSRP, $230-ish. Again, there's that discount code for Brownells if you want to buy it there and save a few bucks. And let's get into the testing before I tell you the pros and cons. So first thing I did when I got it in was I did a drop test. Just dropped it a few times, made sure it can handle some basic drops. We did the runtime test to make sure the batteries would last as long as they said they would, and with those rechargeables it did last over an hour. I threw in some CR123s and it did work fine with those. We did the waterproof test. Again, it's 30 minutes down to 1 meter, no issues there. So then we went to the range. This light actually spent a lot of time on a Nighthawk custom double agent gun, which is an absolutely beautiful gun, the nicest gun I have here. About 10 range trips on that gun alone, and we did a bunch of plinking and shooting steel and drawing from the holster, running and gunning. Everything I did to test that Nighthawk, this light was on there for it. I also had this light on a Beretta APX for a little bit until I had to send that back for repair. And then I moved this light to this Walther PDP that you see it on now. And this Walther PDP is my main duty range gun that I shoot most of the time. We easily over 500 rounds, not even close. Between all 3 guns, I didn't sit there and count, but well over 500 rounds, which is what I always try to shoot for when I'm doing a light review. Now, the biggest pro for me has got to be the Candela. These high Candela pistol lights. You know, just a few years ago, a pistol light with 10-20,000 Candela was crazy. Now they have over 70,000 Candela. That is awesome. I love the new Streamlight controls. How you can go high and low paddles, constant, momentary, easy. Very unlikely you're going to get an accidental light discharge. Awesome. I love the front battery door that you don't need to take the light off the gun to swap the batteries. That's dope. Dual fuel is wonderful. In case my rechargeable batteries die, I can swap them out for CR123s. And then the Streamlight value, what you get for your money for Streamlight, is very hard to beat from any other light manufacturer. Nothing I would change. Overall, as I mentioned a second ago, this Walther is my main range training gun. If I didn't trust a product and think it was good in quality, I wouldn't put it on my main range gun. I wouldn't put it on a gun I use for self-defense or EDC or anything like that. And I have Streamlight light on my carry gun. I have one on my range duty gun. So I guess I can't give it a better compliment than to say I trust my life to them. So Thank you very much to Streamlight. Once again, let me remind you that Brownells is a awesome place, and they have that code Tiberious. Most important, if you think I deserve it, please subscribe to the channel. At the time I'm recording this video, we just hit 69,000 subs, which is pretty good, but I still want to get to 100,000 at some point soon here. So if you think I deserve it, like, comment, and definitely subscribe. Definitely subscribe. Be good, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.